Hey Jose, how you doing? My name is George, and I own a digital agency here in Chicago. And I was doing a search for drywall installation and insulation and things like that out in the Dallas area. I came across your website, and I just wanted to shoot this quick video, hopefully just to give you maybe a few tips or suggestions on things you can do to really just get more traffic from your website, right? Because after all, a website is only created just to get you more leads, more customers, more paying clients. It's not really meant for just looking pretty, just having really cool graphics, a cool interface, nothing like that, right? I mean, every time I build a site, it's to make it work for me, to make it get traffic, more customers, more paying clients. So hopefully you can implement some of this stuff that I'm about to tell you, and you should see a good amount of traffic. If you need any help with this stuff, my company focuses on this, and we're happy to help out or just continue a conversation, see if there's any way that we can provide any value to you, Jose. But this is your site, obviously, you know that. I really like the way you have it laid out. You've got your two services here. I like that you have the phone number right there, right on the very above the fold is what they call it. So right there above the fold, and then also right here. I did check on my phone, and it does pop up very nicely on my phone. So that's great. You've got obviously your phone and map and all that stuff. So that's great right there. A couple of things that I see here right off the bat. I mean, you've got the video, which is awesome, fantastic, and then you also do have your maps and your hours. I mean, Google loves that stuff. So this right here, this is all fantastic. The one thing that I would recommend is your site is lacking content, okay? And you've got to think of your website as basically a bridge between what the searcher is searching for and what Google thinks that your site is about. So Google has like a bunch of what they call bots, right? Bots that are crawling your website, and they read the text on your site. And after they read all that, they say, "Okay, well, Jose's site is about this, right? It's about drywall, it's about insulation." But sometimes searchers have like specific queries, and Google is doing its best to match the query with your website, right? And the only way that they do that is through the content on your site, right? So I would definitely recommend getting at least about 1,000 words, if not like 1,500. Usually, almost all of the sites that I build have at least 1,200 words to it. At least, the more words I can do on the homepage, the better. Okay, so and you can just talk about the insulation services that you have, drywall services, wall texturing, things like that, and it makes a huge difference. Just go into depth about it. But one thing that I did was I looked at installation contractor in Elvert, Texas, because that's where you're at, right? And you come up on the maps, which is fantastic. In fact, you have two listings, so I'm not quite sure how that happened or how Google is allowing that. Maybe they're under two different email addresses, whatnot. But whatever the case may be, you're on the top here, and you're in the maps here. Fantastic, right? The only thing is that there's a problem, right? You this is Elvert, Texas, right? And Alvord, I believe, I think I may have closed down the population thing that I had for Alvord, but I believe you're under 10,000 people in population, and so 10,000 or less is just not enough population size. It's just not dense enough to see a lot of traffic coming from the maps and from the organic listing here. It's just not what I typically try and target for is cities of at least 50,000 people, because then you see a consistent amount of calls, right? So you're in Alvord right here. For example, here's Denton, right? It's about 45 minutes away, and I'm not sure 100% if it's in your market, but I would imagine that it is, okay? So Denton, for example, has a population of 136,000, which is it's a great size city. It's a great size city. But let me go to Frisco, right? Frisco has 177,000, right? And you would think that the competition in Frisco is just very, very high, right? It's very competitive. But not every market is the same, okay? And let me show you. Frisco, surprisingly, has a very, very, very low barrier to entry. So here is the search for installation contractor in Frisco. Check these listings out. So these two bottom map listings don't even have a map or a direction to them. They don't even have a website. Now, I can tell you from doing this for years and experience that the better the better ranking you have here in this organic section, or in other words, the top 10 positions, right, in this organic listing here, the better you're going to rank in the maps. And I typically see that about 65% of my traffic comes from the map section, right? So these guys don't even have a website that is linked to their listing, nor do they have a direction. So that's crazy, right? But then let me show you something that's kind of even more interesting, right? So this is JR's sprayfoaminsulation.com, right? These guys, I can only assume that it's this listing right here that just has not linked their website to their listing, right? But look at this. Here is JR Spray Foam Insulation. It's this guy right here. This guy's site isn't even, it's not even active. It doesn't even show up. Nothing shows up. So, I mean, this is a relatively easy market to enter. Okay. Then this is the other listing, Radiant Guard, right? So here's Radiant Guard right here, but it's not that powerful of a site. I'll show you, right? Another one, this is JR Spray Foam Insulation. So this is actually that internal page right here. Okay, this one is not popping up. This is what you get right here. And then this is dimensionalcontracting.com, right, which is another competitor. Let me see. I think they're right here, but I'll show you also that these guys are not a big competitor. In fact, I don't even believe that they're domiciled in Frisco, Texas. I think by this internal page right here, they're trying to go after Frisco, Texas, which is why they could do it so easily. They're not even domiciled. They're based in Frisco. Okay. So this is a tool that I use. It's called Majestic. It basically just helps me to analyze how powerful of a site I'm competing against, right? And if you look at right here, these are the amount of backlinks that this website has. If you know what a backlink is, it's basically a link from another site pointing to yours, saying, hey, listen, you should check out this site for XYZ, right? So, hey, listen, you should check out this site for insulation services, right? And the more backlinks you have from different websites, essentially the more powerful your website is. The more powerful it becomes, the better it ranks, the more traffic you get, the more leads, the more clients, yada, 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 right? So this is Dimensional Contracting, which I believe is, yeah, it's this one right here, right? So it is number 4 on the organic listings here, okay? And it's really number 1 because these other sites like HomeAdvisor and Yelp, they're typically pretty easy to outrank, okay? So really these guys are number 1. But look at this. If we go back to this tool and I look at this flow, this column right here where it says trust flow, okay? It's basically giving me a good idea of how powerful this site is. And these metrics are not good. Okay. So number 8, that's okay. It's okay, right? But you've got 0, you've got 1, you've got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I mean, it just keeps on going and going, right? So this is not helping him out any. Essentially, these links are worthless, really, right? Except for this one, maybe it has a tiny bit of a push. Okay. Let me give you an example of a couple of other clients that I've had that are in your space, okay? But they're in my market. I'm in Chicago. They're a little bit closer to me, but nonetheless, I'll show you what I did, right? So this is George's Drywall and Paint. I did a search for drywall contractor in Aurora, okay? Aurora has about 200,000 in population here just outside of Chicago, okay? And they're number 3 in the maps, okay? But then on top of that, you can see they're number 3 in the organic listing, just like I told you, right? HomeAdvisor, pretty easy to outrank. I mean, I just started working with these guys, and we can get this outranked here pretty soon. But yeah, you're definitely seeing some traffic, some leads coming from the 3rd position of the organic and 3rd position on the maps, right? But that's just for one search term, right? So what if I do drywall installation in Aurora? Look at that, number 1, right? And then again, number 5 on the organics, right? So like I said, there's a high correlation with how well you rank on the first top 10 of the first page, right? And how well you rank on the maps, right? So let's do another one. What about if we do drywall hanging in Aurora, right? Because trying to target a little bit more of the commercial space, maybe, right? Number one, and then number one on the organic listing, right? So definitely a correlation there. But check this out. So not only did we do that, but here's his homepage, right? And again, you can see how much content there is on the website, right? There's just a lot of content talking about his services, the water damage, drywall repair, drywall installation and hanging, right? I mean, there's just a lot of content, and that's what you want, right? Here's another site that I created for him as well. And this is another town outside of Chicago. It's called Naperville, right? And it's about 140,000 people. So drywall contractor, Naperville. He's not ranking on the top 3 yet. I believe he's number 4, but we just started this site as well, and it's just a matter of time. But check this out, though. He's number 1 on the organics. Number 1, right? And now if you check this out, let's say drywall installation, right? This is him right here, Superior Drywall and Remodeling. So number 3, okay? But then look at this. He's number 4 on the organic listing, okay? And then drywall hanging in Naperville again. Superior Drywall. There we go. There's a website. There's top 2 positions, right? And then I believe, yeah, look at this. This is the other site that we had created for him, but we created an internal page for Naperville again, and he's number 4, right? So we have, of these top 5 spots, we have 1, 2, we have 3 of the top 4 spots for this search term, right? And again, look at this. These are the backlinks for George's Drywall and Paint. Look at that. 19, 18, 17, 17, 17, 7, 7, 4, 2. So we just started this, but look at all that's getting pushed to his website, right? I mean, these are some good metrics. These are very good metrics, okay? Here's another site that we created. It's for Plainfield. Plainfield has about, I want to say, 50,000 people just outside of Chicago, okay? Number 1 spot and number 1 local, okay? Number 1 spot, number 1 local. Here's the website, and again, you can see the amount of content that is on the website, right? Just talking about all of their services. And the more you can talk about your services, the more Google will give you better rankings for different search terms, okay? Here's another one out in Wheaton, 50,000 population. And we haven't created a map listing for it just yet. That's next. But look at that, already number 1, okay? So I just hope this gives you an idea of what, of what our company is capable of, and in terms of getting you some leads and all that. But again, a lot of content, right? So if I go back to your site, right, what I would do is add more content, okay? Add some backlinks to your website, right? Just some powerful web backlinks like this, right? That give you some good push, and then also try and expand your map listings. Try and get into more areas. And look at that. I just uncovered a really, really good area in Frisco where the competition is low. I'm telling you from experience, this is low. Okay. And you could start seeing some really good traffic if that's your market in the Frisco area, but definitely in Denton. I mean, I looked into that as well, and that's somewhat low-hanging fruit as well. So if you've got any more questions, or if you want to kind of continue this conversation a little bit further, if you want a little bit more tips, or maybe some suggestions on other markets that I would enter that might be a little bit closer to you, I'm happy to do that. You can do that through this one-on-one consultation button here on my website. It's hookseoagency.com, right? And or you can just reply to the email that I'm sending you. But here you can see my areas of expertise. I mean, I do all of the topics that I was just talking about: web design, link building, citations, and all that stuff, lead generation. I mean, that's my specialty, and I only focus on the home services space, right? So here you can see some of my successes, and I just going on and on about getting really good rankings. I've got tuck pointing clients, and I've got epoxy floor clients and things like that. So you can check that out there. But if you've got any more questions, again, happy to help through that one-on-one consultation button, or what's easier is you can just reply to my email, and we can schedule something that way. And you can also reach out to me on my cell phone number. That is 773-677-1149. Thanks, Jose. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.